back at the Green Phoenix Farm in mid-June of 2021, and we are preparing to harvest the garlic that we showed you how to plant and that we actually planted last October of 2020. Here are a few heads that we've just pulled out, and you can see they're just beautiful, and those cloves are filling in the skins really nicely, and they have been nicely withheld from water since they formed their scapes about 2 weeks ago, and that facilitates the curing process, and it facilitates or extends their storage life if you pull the water away after you harvest the scapes. So if you're wondering what a scape is, we have one here. We deliberately left one scape in this whole row of hardnecks as an indicator of when to harvest. A scape is simply the flower stalk that comes up out of the center of the garlic plant if it's a hardneck variety, and then it forms this little flower head which would open and contain seed. But if you allow the scape to stay on the plant and you don't harvest it when it first comes out of the plant and is at about a 45-degree angle and stops about here, then the plant is putting all its energy into forming the flower head rather than into forming a gigantic head of garlic, which is really what we want. So about 2 weeks ago, all of these hardnecks had scapes, and they've all gone through. The folks here at Green Phoenix came through and harvested all the scapes about an inch above where they come out of the plant, and they go ahead and eat those scapes. They left this one as an indicator. It came up out of the plant. It was at about a 45-degree angle when they came through and harvested them. This guy grew, and it started to form a 360-degree curl. And it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. But the longer you allow it to be in that curled state, the more energy is being put into the flower and away from the bulb. In this case, they left this one and it did the 360, and then it unfurls. And when it's unfurled, it's like, hey everybody, it's time to harvest all the rest of them. You can also go by another indicator if you don't want to do this, or if you're growing soft necks that generally don't put up a scape. And you can look at the garlic plant, and when several of the bottom leaves have turned brown and died, but there's still about 2/3 of the plant left that's green, that's a good time to harvest. If you let it go too far and the whole top is green, yes, you'll have garlic, but it won't store as long. So the trick is to get it when there's about 1/3 brown leaves and 2/3 green leaves. Another trick for harvesting is, instead of just sitting here and yanking and yanking and yanking to pull it up, which might separate the leaves from the head, which again will interfere with the curing and the storage process, you want to use something like a digging fork or a shovel and get down there and scoop and lift the garlic up out of the ground. And you can see, look at how these roots are just clinging to this soil. And you can just knock the soil off. And you want to see, okay, is it really ready? My indicator scape said it was ready. The percent of leaves left on their green says it's ready. But are the cloves nice and hard and really filling in the skins? And I would say on this, the answer is yes. So all indications were that this garlic was ready for harvest, and indeed it was. So then the only other thing you need to do, besides look forward to eating this, is to cure it for storing. So now we imagine that we've harvested this whole row. We're going to take, a tray that has holes in the bottom like this, or, a storage rack, a cookie rack, anything that allows for airflow. And we'll lay our garlic out in a single layer. You can also lay them like this in a single layer, and you might be able to fit more in your tray this way. So if they're like you know, head to feet or whatever. And you're gonna put these in a cool, dry place. You don't wanna leave them in the sun or you will have a whole bunch of roasted garlic. You wanna definitely put this in the shade, in a cool place where there's good airflow. And let them cure or dry out completely until all of the leaves are dead and brown like this. At which point you can cut off the top of the stalk and make sure that it is completely dried there. And you can also, if you want, trim off the roots, and we'll show you how to do that in a couple of weeks.